Geometry, properties of special parallelograms. This is day 4. A rectangle is a quadrilateral, a four-sided figure with 4 right angles. Here are our theorems. If a quadrilateral is a rectangle, then it is a parallelogram. If a quadrilateral is a rectangle, then it is a parallelogram. Here, ABCD is a rectangle. The quadrilateral, 4 sides, has 4 right angles. It is also a parallelogram. The other theorem that we need is, and I'm trying to make it easier to see, if a parallelogram is a rectangle, then its diagonals are congruent. If we have a rectangle, then diagonals are congruent. So in our picture, SQ is congruent to PR. Since a rectangle is a parallelogram, it inherits or it demonstrates all the properties of parallelograms. A woodmaker constructs a picture frame so that JK is 50 centimeters and JL is 86 centimeters. Find HM. Well, we know that because we have a rectangle, the diagonals are congruent, so JL is congruent to KM. If we have a parallelogram, the diagonals bisect each other, so JH is congruent to HL and KH is congruent to HM. If JL is 86 centimeters, KM bisects it. 86 divided by 2 is 43. Well, then we know that HM must also be equal to 43 centimeters. HM is equal to 43 centimeters. Okay, what is a rhombus? A rhombus is a quadrilateral with 4 congruent sides. Here are our theorems. If a quadrilateral is a rhombus, then it is also a parallelogram. If we have a rhombus, then we have a parallelogram. ABCD is a parallelogram because AB is congruent to BC, is congruent to CD, is congruent to DA. Well, also, if a parallelogram is a rhombus, then its diagonals are perpendicular. If we have a rhombus, then we have diagonals perpendicular. What does perpendicular mean? Perpendicular is intersecting at right angles. So the diagonals intersect at right angles. Perpendicular means 90 degrees. So in our example here, with rhombus ABCD, AC is perpendicular to BD. One more theorem. If a parallelogram is a rhombus, if we have a rhombus, then each diagonal bisects opposite angles. In our example, ABC, let's see, angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, angle 5 is congruent to angle 6, angle 3 is congruent to angle 4, and angle 7 is congruent to angle 8. If you do not have the original paper in front of you, it is a little hard to see this diagram. I will zoom in very close so that you can see it very well. We have a rhombus AB congruent to BC, congruent to CD, congruent to DA, and the diagonals bisect the opposite angles. In a quadrilateral, we have adjacent angles or consecutive angles, one after the other, and we have opposite angles. AC are opposite from A and C are opposite angles, B and D are opposite angles.